we'll give it a second. All right, there it is. I'm so excited, Victoria, that you could come on and join me.
I'm so happy to be
It's
here.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been trying to like reach out and find individuals that promote and put on various different styles of entertainment shows to kind of get an idea of like what goes into the backside of that show and how you came about creating that show and picking your venue.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have worked with a number of different venues around the Triangle. So we started out at Legends in their View Bar section. We've worked with Poorhouse, Motorco, of course. So as we keep growing, we look to bigger and bigger venues with bigger stages that can allow for more guests to come and enjoy the shows. One thing we also look for is a stage that has rafters. So when we do our aerial arts, we need really strong rafters in the ceiling to be able to do that rigging and make sure it can support the weight of our aerialists. So we were lucky enough this time to find Motorco, which can accommodate that. So we're pretty excited to get people up in the air again.
Yeah, because I did notice, like, I always kind of like scroll back through any social media that I can find so I can get an idea of, like where a performer has been or where they kind of come from. And I noticed that there were, like lots of pictures from you guys performing at the poorhouse. So that was as far back as your social media I could go. And I only saw that you guys had social media back to 2022. But how long have you really been promoting the Purple Marble Circus in this area?
Yeah, so we've been around for about 3 years. For a little bit, I was producing shows kind of on a smaller capacity before kind of getting the social media up and running. That's a whole beast by itself to do social media. But for me, I've been performing for over a decade. So I've done festivals, I've done SparkCon in Raleigh, which is no longer in existence. I've done Bloom out in Charlotte. I used to be a competitive pole dancer, so I would do TPC in Cary and SPC in Atlanta. I've done burlesque and aerials and a little bit of stilt walking, a little bit of everything really. And eventually I decided I wanted to start producing my own shows, and that's kind of where Purple Marble Circus was born.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. I started with just a belly dance class many, many years ago. I think back in 2012, I think. At this point, I started on a Groupon, really enjoyed it. And the studio I went to also offered pole. I was like, why not? Let's give it a try. One Groupon class turned into years of, 6 days a week training and rehearsals and competitions and performances and all sorts of things. And from there, I just kind of expanded to all sorts of circus arts. So it's a big passion of mine.
That's that's very cool though. I have a lot of friends that do competitive pole now, and it's huge. I to think that 10 years ago it wasn't that what it is now, and now it's just this very huge community of people. It's blows my mind.
Oh yeah, it's so impressive. And one thing I love about the community is there's so much overlap in the triangle. Like the people who do flow arts know the people who do acro, who know the people who do pole, who know the people who do aerials. So it's like there's a lot of overlapping Venn diagrams there. And so I often find that someone will say something like that and be like, oh, I have a friend who does pole. And then I'll ask like what studio they go to. And then I've gone there and then I know their friend or whatnot. So it's all very interconnected, and it just really makes me happy to see everybody like mingling together and sharing their crafts and their talents.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's one of the things that I do like about the Purple Marble Circus. I've seen the last two shows that you guys have performed at Motorco, and it's such a variety of artists. There's so much. You have your flow artists, and at this last one, you guys had puppies.
Yes, that was actually the first time we worked with the Dynamo dogs. It was really fun. They were so cute. Such a big hit. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so I'm always behind the bar, so I don't always get to pay attention to a lot of the performance that is going on, but I did get to catch part of the pups, and I was like, "Oh my god, they're so
They
cute."
are so cute. And, that act, especially, like, obviously, I love all of our acts, but that one was really like a personal, like, exciting to have on the stage because, they're trained puppies. And for me, so a little bit of background, Purple Marble is named after my cat. In our little logo, the little gray cat standing on the purple circus ball, that's my cat Marble.
Mhm.
He is a munchkin, so he's like a miniature cat, and he's also trained, so he's a little circus boy. He can do, you know 20, 30 different tricks, and high five and jump through hoops and jump on my shoulder, and all sorts of things on command. And so it was so cool to be like, oh, look, the little dogs are able to get up and do their tricks, and then at home he and I do our tricks together.
That's so cool. I never thought of a cat as being circus trainable.
I
I
honestly
guess I
didn't
should
either.
like a domesticated cat anyways, I know that they train like big cats for stuff, but I never thought of like a small cat. That's kind of cool though. It gives you that like added extra connection to your pet.
Yeah, I never even knew that cats were trainable like that. But I was trying to get him to sleep at night instead of running around crazy. And so I was looking online, and one of the suggestions was, oh, if you teach your cat a few tricks and reward them with a snack, of course, right before bed, it'll give them that enrichment and kind of mentally tire them out so that they're ready for sleep. So it started out as just like a practical thing. I was like, well, I live in a very small apartment. I can't have you running around crazy at 3 a.m. So let's start doing these tricks.
Right.
And then he loved it. I mean, he's purring through the whole time, because cats actually enjoy working for their food. Unlike, humans who want our food on a microwave plate like right away. Cats love to work for it. And so he enjoys his tricks. He knows as soon as I get his props and cups and stuff out, and we go to the bedroom, he's like running after me, he's purring, he's his tail's going, he's very excited to do it. So it worked out. It was something practical that turned into something fun and like a cute bonding experience.
I should tell my aunt to do that with her cat because her cat is crazy at that like 6 o'clock in the morning type thing. I'm like, I'm not ready to get up when I stay at her house.
It can really help, like, to mentally tire them out as well as physically tire them out. They're like little toddlers.
Yeah, my dog is that way. Like if he doesn't get his walk before bed, he has a hard time settling down sometimes. So I get it. I get it. Yeah. So also, I see that you guys coordinate 2 shows a year.
Yes.
Is that kind of your like stay, or do you see yourself maybe trying to put together more than 2 shows a year?
I think for the time being, we'll probably keep it at 2 to 3 shows a year. There's a lot that goes into each show, and they are, like you said, they're pretty big shows. We often have, 20 to 25 different acts on stage, and sometimes we'll have people coming in from out of town, out of state, to come perform with us. So there's a lot of coordination that goes on in the background, and I like to keep it fresh. If we're doing a show every single month, people are kind of going to get tired, and oh, I've seen it already, I've been there. So we found that 2 or 3 times a year is kind of a good balance, to get people excited and interested in seeing it. And that way we kind of get to play around with different themes, right? So we did the mythical menagerie one, which was all about mythical animals and a fundraiser for a cat shelter. And then now we've got coming up our first holiday show, actually. Normally we do a show in October for Halloween, but this time we decided to branch out and do Silent Fright in December and kind of have like a holiday peppermint twist on that for the people who, like me, will be missing Halloween as soon as we hit November 1st. So we can bring it back a little bit in
Right.
December.
I feel that. Yeah, I we do. Like my home is always super decorated for Halloween because it happens to be one of my favorite times of the year. And this year, due to one of my kids moving back home, all of my Halloween stuff is buried and we can't get to any of it. And I'm just over here
Oh
crying.
no.
Like, this is so not fair. I can't decorate for my favorite holiday because everything is buried.
You have one more month to unearth those decorations.
I know. I told her, I was like, we're cleaning out the garage. Everything is coming out.
Yes, absolutely. If you have to, you can just make some paper bats and paste them on your door.
Right. I did get like a new pumpkin. I have one pumpkin I found the other day at the store, and I was like, I'm buying this.
Oh my gosh.
Something has to go outside.
TJ Maxx and Home Goods, like they really get you. They already have their Halloween stuff
Um,
out.
yeah. I already dumped a bunch of money at Home Goods the other day buying new decor for my apartment that is all pretty much Halloweenish.
I love that. I'm the same way. That is my
I was
favorite holiday.
I'm gonna redo my bathroom. Yeah. So yeah, when I saw the flyer for the upcoming show that's in December, my first thought was, oh, there's gotta be a Krampus there.
Oh yes, definitely. Krampus will be making an appearance. The Ghost of Christmas Past will be making an appearance. Probably Scrooge, Jack Frost, all of your favorite characters.
That's so cool. Yeah, I immediately like had all these like crazy thoughts and ideas pop in when I saw the flyer first pop up that you guys had a show coming up. Because I follow you guys on Facebook, and to try to like kind of like keep up with what's going on and when there's going to be new shows. That way, I always know when I want to be like, hey, I want to work this night.
Oh, I love that. Actually, yeah, I did hear from the Motorco team last for the last show that people were like kind of vying to work that night, and especially like on a Sunday night, which is when we had the last one. I was like, oh, look at that! I'm so
Yep.
glad for the enthusiasm.
Yeah, well, because you guys bring in a very diverse crowd as well, which I love because those are my people.
Yes, we definitely have a good mix of like friends and family of the performers, people interested in circus, other circus performers, people coming from out of town. You know, we got
Yep.
everything. So I love it. And I love being able to do shows that are 18 and up because then, you know, some of our more younger fans and people who are interested in that can still come even though it's a bar.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. I mean, my son is always, and he's 7, and he's always like, but I want to go with you. And I'm like, no, not so much.
Not quite yet. Maybe in a few years.
Yeah, I'm like, not yet. He has like sensitivity to sounds, so going to anything where there's a lot of noise would just not work. But he loves pole.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah, he loves pole because I myself have one, and he spends a lot of time playing on it.
I believe it.
But at 7, he also has no fear.
Kids are so energetic and flexible and strong for their
Yeah.
age. They can really just do all sorts of things if you start them young.
Yeah, I just let him go. I'm like, you know what? There you go. You need to get out some extra energy. Go play on the pole. Just, I always watch to make sure that he's being super careful. So, you know what? In a few years, he might fill out your application.
I would love that. I would honestly love that. I wish I had started these type of things younger. You know, it's a lot easier to bend and move and lift yourself when you're like 10 or 11 years old than when I started, you know, in my early 20s.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
but you get there eventually.
For sure. It's much. I look at him, I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Like, I've been at this a long time, and you just make it at your age, you make it look so much easier. And I watch a lot of competitions, and I'm like, you guys make that look so easy.
That is true.
I know
Sometimes
better.
it's interesting to see like when people watch the competitions especially cuz coming from a competitive background for me and then going into just performing like more at showcases and stuff now, it's definitely different in terms of like tricks I choose to put in or movements I choose to do because there are some things that are like actually very difficult to do. But because the artist is making it look easy, then it's like less impressive for someone who doesn't know. So in competition, if I'm doing a certain movements, the judges are going to know, oh, okay, that's like really difficult. That's a level, whatever type of move. And they're going to know that and note that down and everything. But if you're doing that just in a showcase for people who may not know that, it might just look like, oh, okay, she's just like hopping up there, like no big deal. So
Right.
there's definitely thought that goes into picking different movements that, you know, are going to be something that wows the audience and impresses them and keeps their attention and everything like that, even if it's maybe not your like most strong or most difficult movement.
Right. Also, So, do you perform at the shows?
I do usually perform. Yeah, I kind of like sneak in there with like a a one set, a one act, and then I go back behind the scenes and go back to the green room and kind of stage mom and stuff like that and help the other performers. But yes, I
Yeah,
usually
well,
do.
because like I feel like I remember you performing at the Fun House, like the first show that I saw you guys perform at Motorco.
Yes, I was the crazy clown with the Pennywise teeth that was running through the crowd.
Okay, and then I don't remember seeing you at the Mythical Menagerie.
For that one, I was the phoenix with the big giant wings at the end.
Okay.
That one was super cool. And, personally, I loved doing that one because we were able to overlay flames onto my wings at the end from the projector. So Motorco was super accommodating. I came in like several times. I was like, all right, guys, I have another crazy question. But we were able to get the flame overlay projected onto me afterwards, which was super cool. The photos look awesome.
Okay, that's cool. So when you guys get you put out, hey, we're putting on a show. This is the application process. Because I looked at that application and I was like, holy cow. So how do you guys go through and kind of vet who you're gonna invite onto the roster from that list?
Yeah, so usually we get an overwhelming number of applications. I think for Mythical Menagerie, we got about 60, I want to say. And of course, there's only a limited time frame, right? I can't keep everybody there for 10 hours, even though I wish I could accept everyone. So we go through, and ultimately, it comes down to concept, character, song choice, things like that. So there's obviously a theme. For every show. And so we're looking to fit that theme and not have too many duplicates, not have too many people doing like the exact same thing. And so we try to get that variety in there. And then we're also trying to get a variety of acts, right? Like, we don't want to have a show that's like 15 pole dancers and then three of other things. So we try to have that balance between having some people doing pole, having some people doing aerials and floor work like gymnastics or contortion. And of course we have our sideshow performers, the ones who are doing like the drill in the nose or the nail in the nose or chewing glass and stuff like that. So try to keep it with variety. But sometimes, like again, for the last show, we had a lot of people that wanted to do like a very, very similar concept. Mermaids and sirens were really popular, for example, for like the mythical animals, which totally makes sense. That's a really fun character to play and to act out and pole and aerial and stuff like that. But that definitely made our job harder because having to eliminate and not accept everyone just because we can't have 15 sirens on the stage. So that's kind of
Right.
how our process goes. But we love being able to work with. Oh, I thought that was on my end. I was like, oh, what's happening? um
No, that's one of my
oh
dogs.
yeah, no problem. I was like, I don't have any bells over here. Yeah, we love being able to
That's
like work
Brownie.
with people who have like been on stage before, but then also work with new people, people from out of town. I know for the last show we had someone come down from Vermont, which was really cool. In a previous show we had someone come from Atlanta and South Carolina, and this coming show we've just cast it, and there's a really nice variety of like different studios and different cities being represented. So I'm really excited to see them get on stage.
Yeah, I did see that you guys have already started posting your acts for the next show.
Yes. So the applications are closed, unfortunately. So everybody has been cast for this show, and we'll start announcing performers probably like one or two a week, just because we are still a little bit early before December. But I'll be posting the performers in the event page on Facebook, and then also on Facebook and Instagram on our pages. And we like to just, give a little brief introduction and their photo and like what studio they're affiliated with, if anything, so that people can kind of, start getting excited and start seeing who they might see on stage on December 7th.
That's very cool. Also on your application, I did notice that there's a spot on there where it asks for a link to any like video of a performance that you might have done. So, in the case that you have somebody that is brand new that doesn't have a link like that, what are their options for being able to showcase to you what they can do?
That's such a great question. So with our shows, we always like to encourage people who haven't performed or maybe haven't performed a lot to still apply because, you know, it's difficult to get a long resume of previous performances, especially if you're starting out not having any. Like I, as a performer myself, remember a time that it was hard for me to get on shows because I was like, oh man, I've been doing this for a while, but I just don't have any like videos from me on stage. I don't have anything on maybe this apparatus that I've been on a lot, but I just don't have any formal like recordings or performances of it. So people for that case can show, maybe a video of them at their studio or at their home studio, something that they've put together like at their gym or like in a local park or something like that. It doesn't have to be something like from a formal stage. And we've definitely had performers in our shows where that was their first formal performance. And for, one or two, it even I've heard has like helped them kickstart that, performance career where they finally were able to like say like, oh yes, I've got this credit now, I can put this on my next application and then so forth, and it's kind of like a waterfall effect. So yeah, we always love working with new people because there's so many people in our community in the triangle who have awesome talents to share, and I never want a lack of a long resume, to be something that like prevents them from being able to share that with everybody.
Okay. And then also, I know that you guys have helpers that roam through the audience that do like raffle tickets and collect donations. How, if somebody wanted to get involved with that side of the show, would they go about contacting you for that? Or how do you choose those people?
Yeah, so they can just reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram. It's just at Purple Marble Circus if they're interested in doing that. We always have our MC and then we have our kittens. So we have a stage kitten that will help with putting props on the stage and taking them off and kind of helping performers get on and off between acts. And then we'll have kittens that go through the audience and collect tips. Sometimes we have a raffle. We won't have a raffle for this upcoming one, but sometimes we do. And so they'll help out with like selling raffle tickets and handing out prizes and things like that. And then we have someone who works our merch table and so on and so forth. So yeah, they can just reach out to us on social media if they're interested in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I had reached out to a group like maybe like a year ago to get information about getting involved with their program. And so I just was like, I wonder if this is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just yeah, definitely they can just reach out on social and then we can talk. We do have our kittens for this coming show already. We try to do these things so early on just cuz like scheduling, especially with December being like a lot of holiday travel and family time
Yeah.
for people. We were like, "Oh, we need to get this done ahead of time."
So in a like a typical not one that's around like a holiday, like how soon do you guys start planning what you're gonna do? Are you planning the next big event as soon as one is done?
I'm planning the next show like the week after the show's over. So the week of like December 14th, I will be planning the spring show um,
Nice.
because it does take a lot of time. So, the planning process really starts with coming up with the concept, like what's the theme going to be? What's the name of the show? How is it going to be structured? Where are we going to have it? And then I like to get on the books for the venue pretty far in advance. I mean, I was working with Motorco months ago, like before we even announced anything, because they book up so fast. And so if you want to have a Friday or Saturday time slot, the venues are booking bands. They have touring bands coming in, which I mean, you're at Motorco, so I'm sure like tons of bands come
Oh yeah.
through. So you kind of have to plan it pretty far ahead to make sure you can get on their books and get a hold on. Um, and then after that, it's developing the call for talent and figuring out like, okay, like what kind of acts do we want for this? Like what's, the kind of theme with the songs and like the music choices and stuff. And I usually leave the call for talent open for a few weeks while people apply, um, and then you start the process of like promoting. So we put it all over social media. We put it in all of like the calendar listings for all of like, the Raleigh and Durham like magazines and papers and Indie Week and like places like that. Um, and then we often also have like giveaways for free tickets. So setting those up with various Instagram influencers and bloggers, and people like that to set up the giveaways like for several weeks so people can enter and maybe like win free tickets and stuff. So there's definitely like a lot of background work that goes on. So I will definitely be looking into the spring show sometime immediately after Silent Fright.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
And I thought there was a lot going on in my world.
Well, you can see now why we only do 2 or 3 a year, because it's definitely like a long back
Right.
process.
There's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot. But it comes out to be something that's so enjoyable to the crowd. And I can imagine that to the performers, that for their, 4 minutes that they're on stage, just the way that they feel. Like, I remember being on stage and knowing that there's just a feeling that comes with that perfect show.
Definitely. It's like that
So,
excitement and adrenaline and relief, and you're like, it's here, it's
yep.
time. Yeah, I love being on stage myself, and I also love being in the green room on show day. It's just such an electricity that like buzzes through, like everybody's ready to go.
It's like having the perfect party.
Yeah, yeah.
You're a party host.
Plus, it's like the culmination of working on something for months. I mean, a lot of our performers, unless, sometimes they already have an act prepared, but a lot of our performers are starting to choreograph now. Like for my act, I'm starting to choreograph now. So we spend months putting something amazing together for those 4 minutes on stage for people. And so
Yep.
it's pretty exciting to like finally be able to get out there and not just practice the dress rehearsals in our studios and our our homes and our gyms and stuff, but to actually get out there and be like, this is what we've been working on. It's kind of a big reveal.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I know that we're running up on a time crunch because you have a busy, busy day. So where can people follow you on all of your socials?
People can follow us on Facebook at Purple Marble Circus, or Instagram, Purple Marble Circus 1, just the number 1. And we would love to follow you back. Reach out to us,
Thank
let
you.
us know what you want to see. Let us know what kind of acts you want to see on stage. If you have ideas for future shows you think would be really cool, we respond to everything, and we would just love to hear from people.
Awesome. Well, I will see you guys for sure in December
Good. I'm so excited
because
to
I
be
will be behind the bar.
there. Wonderful. Well, shout out to everyone listening. Go get drinks. Go to the bar. Come see us
Yes.
December 7th at Motorco for Silent Fright.
Yes, hopefully. Okay. Hopefully that is the case, and we will see everybody there too.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
having me.
you.